It's Friday night, everybody. You know what that means. It's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Let's get together and play a ton.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm John.
And we're
Friday Night Games.
We want to immerse you into our love of the hobby by educating and entertaining you through our board gaming adventures. Our podcast lands every Friday, and we create content for Instagram, Twitter, YouTube,
TikTok.
something else.
Stuff. This episode is sponsored by TabletopRenaissance.ca, located in our hometown of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Their web store is ready to go, so go check out TabletopRenaissance.ca for your board gaming and tabletop miniature needs.
On today's show, we're going to talk about the top Halloween IPs that either need a game or need a better game. So we're going to discuss our favorite IPs. And I don't know, maybe if the game sucks, we'll tell you how we should make it better.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do
So anyway, Halloween's like one of my favorite times of the year. October's a busy month for me. A lot of stuff happens, so I just kind of embrace Halloween.
Happy birthday, John. I know
Thank
you want
you.
everyone to know that.
Yes, thank you. It's my birthday, my dad's birthday, my anniversary, my kid's birthday,
My dad's
Halloween,
birthday, our editor's
Thanksgiving.
birthday.
I didn't even say happy birthday to Kevin this weekend.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Happy birthday, Kevin. Hey, if you're listening to this, just post happy birthday, Kevin, on any of our socials.
Yes.
Do it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Then we know you listen.
Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate you. Happy birthday.
It's also Novi's birthday coming up, Devil's Night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of birthdays
A lot of
flying
birthdays going
around.
on. Cool. So, yeah, I think Halloween, I'm going through, if you check out our Instagram, all my Halloween horror-themed board games.
I did check it out.
So, I've got like a whole week left. I got a lot of horror-themed board games. I haven't even touched your games yet either.
I feel like you love like horror board games.
I love horror anything. I kind of grew up watching horror movies, so I kind of dig it. I like the cheesy stuff. This past year I tried watching like the psychological horror stuff, and I actually had to stop watching it because I was actually having messed up dreams like that were keeping me up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had to like stop watching.
Oh,
them
so
for
you
a
rather
while.
watch the cheese.
I prefer the psychological horror movies,
Mm-hmm.
but they were actually like really messing with my psyche, I guess.
You know what? I feel like I know other people who have the same problem too, where they like watch a movie and then they just go to bed with all those, like with all the thoughts from whatever we watched.
Yeah, and it normally doesn't affect me that much, but I think because I was watching like one almost every night.
Oh yeah, that's probably
Like,
gonna
it
mess
was
you
just,
up.
it was like your
And
brain's like you up, man.
And those are not the good. Like that's not a good sleep you're gonna get either, because like
No.
you're like, oh, there's a killer after me, or oh no, psychological. So
Yeah.
someone's messing with you, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, you're like, who's messing with me in my dream? So you're
Yeah.
never gonna get a good sleep for like a week.
no, it was brutal. But give me some good old slasher stuff. That's what I grew up on, like the
Yeah.
cheese horror.
Just so everyone knows, we have a very good Halloween podcast last year. Definitely listen to it.
Yeah.
Not that you shouldn't be listening to this. You should keep this on. But
Yeah, check that one after. It was around this time last
it
year.
was actually hilarious. Remember, we had the top Halloween games, like what we would do for a Halloween game, and one of them was like, "You're gonna tie me up, throw me in a cemetery."
Oh, yeah,
Oh my god,
yeah.
that's so funny.
I remember now.
One of the funniest clips ever.
So, but
Wait. Well,
okay.
Halloween for me.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, geez, John, what do you think? It's all about you
It's
here?
my show. I love Halloween.
Should I leave? I don't love Halloween. Actually, no. So Halloween to me, I love Halloween too, but I love it for a different reason. I was a fat kid and I love candy. I said that last time too. Halloween's all about candy for me, man. So like, what is your favorite candy bar?
Oh, my favorite candy
See how I put you
bar?
on the spot there? You didn't even see that coming.
No, I got several. So
Okay.
right now I'm really into like the Reese's peanut butter cup, the thick one with the Reese's Pieces inside.
Oh, those are good.
That's
But
what I'm
those
into
aren't
right
going to be
now.
given out at Halloween though.
No, but if I'm going anything on Halloween, my neighbor, like 900 houses down.
I'm
They
listening.
live at like the end of the street.
900. Okay,
They
that's
live,
far.
they live like the corner at the end of the street.
Mhm.
I don't know, through conversations they said that they were giving out Airheads
Oh,
for Halloween, and I was like, oh, I love Airheads.
me too.
And she makes packages for my kids of like a bunch of like Halloween candy, and then gives me a giant Ziploc bag full of Airheads, and I love it.
I really like Airheads. They're like a chewy. I like chewy candies. I really do.
Yeah.
If someone were gonna ask me my favorite chewy candy, I would actually say Airheads is up top. But candy bar wise would be Wonder Bar,
Oh yeah,
which I don't think the Americans have that. But it's like
it would.
it's like a nougat wrapped in like I don't know. It's like a chewy caramel, peanut butter, chocolate, and it's like
I think it would be like the equivalent to, I want to say no, I know. A Butterfinger, almost.
no, it's
Almost.
not. It's not a Butterfinger though.
Almost.
It's better than a Butterfinger.
Yes.
Butterfinger is like crispy.
Yes.
This
Isn't
is-
Wonder Bar crispy in the middle?
No, it's chewy.
What am I thinking of?
It's chewy. I don't know what you're thinking of.
Huh.
What's Canadian Butterfinger? I have no idea.
I don't know then.
The other one I really like is a Fusion bar. It's Cadbury Fusion bar.
Fusion's good.
But those,
Yeah,
so you can get those in the States. They're like $100 grand or $1,000 grand
Yeah.
or something. Those are like, I love those. It's just like Rice Krispies. It's like caramel wrapped in Rice Krispies, basically.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
I had a neighbor that worked in the States, and then they would bring us Fusion bars, but they
No,
longer-
Fusion bars are here.
Oh, they're here.
100 grand is there, or 1,000 grand, something like that. Whatever that bar is. Yeah. They're so good though. They're so
You should
good.
have supplied me candy for this. Now I'm just hungry.
Yeah, I didn't. But yeah, that's what Halloween meant to me, and it also was a time of like hanging out with my friends and stuff, going out trick or treat. I just cared more about going out trick or treating with my friends than I actually did anything else.
Yeah, and you used to host a Halloween party as well before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
thanks, COVID.
I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't start that back up again. So.
True.
All right. So, with that, let's talk about some Halloween games and if they're good enough to play.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, we're talking about IPs, right? So I'll start first. My IP that I chose that I love, and I don't know, there could be an argument here. Is it Halloween? The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it Halloween or is it Christmas?
I see your other.
Oh yeah. We'll save it.
It's both, man. Like, it's a good blend. You can watch it at Halloween. You can watch it at Christmas time. I've done it.
Yeah, I actually watch it at both times because I
Yeah.
just think it's like it's just such a good. It's a great movie. Like I love the movie. Jack
Yeah.
Skellington is the man, and I'll buy stuff with his face on it. But as for games, though, I actually like did a little bit of research, and I didn't really find a lot of games. I mean, they're like simple games, you
Yeah.
know, like here's a card game, and
With, like, their faces on it and stuff.
yeah, it's not really like anything complicated, right? So what would how would we make a better game for them?
Oh,
for
for
that.
that one? I don't know. You'd have to take all the elements, right? So, like, what happens in the movie? How would
Well,
you
have
incorporate
to
that into the
save
game, right?
Christmas or something, right? So
Well, Jack's bored out of his mind scaring people, right? So he wants to do this new Christmas thing, but it goes all wrong. And then he's like, Halloween's good.
maybe it's a worker placement,
Yeah,
and you have to. There's like different points, right? Scaring people,
yeah,
creating Halloween,
yeah.
creating Christmas.
Okay. But somewhere on the board, Oogie Boogie's after you. Or
Oh,
like
nice.
that's the obstacle,
Right.
right?
Like an Oogie Boogie deck or something.
Or like maybe one of the worker placements you have to feed it so it doesn't get, whatever it does.
Right.
I haven't watched the movie in years, so
You're doing a good job for barely seeing it. But yeah, maybe there's like maybe every character, you're different characters, and you have like a Christmas or Halloween bar, and you have to like do worker placement things to move your Halloween bar or Christmas bar,
oh, okay.
and then it ends after a certain amount of rounds, and
That's what holiday you get.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's an RPG.
Yeah, you know what?
Gloomhaven.
I
Maybe you
think-
take
I think-
Gloomhaven.
I think an RPG in like Halloween Town, setting in Halloween Town,
Oh, would be amazing.
would be amazing.
Me too. I do too.
Why not?
But I guess you
Where's
need
the op when you need it?
Although our reference in the op doesn't work for them anymore. It works at Steamforge Games, but
Yeah, that's okay.
hopefully he's listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be amazing. Yeah, you're right. Like an RPG setting. They probably have it. I bet you there is.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, John, what about you? What's your game?
Okay, so I thought about this all day today. So when I think back to horror movies and IP, I always go to Child's Play because that was the first horror movie I watched, and there's nothing. There's like no Child's Play game.
Right.
So what I was thinking, and I'm playing a lot of solo games too. So what if there's a game where you're Chucky, and I don't know if it's like a deck builder or what, but you're trying to transfer your soul out of the doll's body into the body of Andy Barkley. Like that's the goal of the game, right?
Okay.
So what do you do to get there, right? So there's gonna be obstacles you're gonna have to kill.
I never watched. I got a confession for you.
Yeah.
I had never seen a Chucky movie.
Well, that's okay. Watch the new TV show; it's pretty good. So yeah, it's just trying to figure out like how do you get from point A to point
Well,
B.
what does he So what does Chucky do in the movies? Just kills people?
Yeah, so Chucky is a serial killer
Okay, but
named
in
Charles Lee Ray, who got caught by the police and he got shot and he was about to die, but he knows voodoo magic. So he transfers his soul to the body of this good guy doll. And the good guy doll, he finds out that the longer he stays in the body, the more human he becomes. So his goal, he has to transfer his soul to the first person that he revealed his true identity to, who was the kid in Child's Play, Andy Barclay. So he's trying throughout the movie to transfer his soul back to Andy's body.
He's trying to take over the kid.
Yeah, so he doesn't become a human in a doll's body.
So like, and the kid knows that, or the kid just sees
It figures it out eventually, yeah. So.
Okay. And then, so I don't know, maybe you could take, maybe it's like a point system.
Yeah.
You gotta like do things to gain possession of the child's body.
Yeah.
Or it could be reversed. You could be the kid and you're just trying to escape.
No, I feel like playing it from Chucky's perspective would be fun. Chucky never seems to be able to do the full spell. So maybe in the game you're collecting elements of the spell, and then when you get whatever the full thing is, then hey, what's up?
Right, but he never wins, so they should
Right.
make it impossible, basically.
Exactly. It's super hard. Actually, he does it eventually in one movie. It gets complicated. There's a big spider web of things. I'm not really sure what happens, but
Okay.
I think a Child's Play game where you're playing with Chucky, trying to transfer your soul into Andy Barclay's body through voodoo magic, and I think would be a fun game. Solo adventure.
Cool. I think that's a great game.
Yeah.
My next movie is a Korean movie,
Korean.
and it's called The Host.
Never seen it.
So the whole idea is that there's basically like, I don't know, something in the water, and there's a giant monster, and it's trying to kill everybody.
Okay.
So I actually like for Halloween movies, I'm not a big fan of like horror and thriller. I actually like sci-fi and like kaiju.
Okay.
Right. So I don't know, maybe it'd just be like a giant kaiju game. What's that game made by? It's like the Godzilla game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just make that.
Just The Host.
Yeah.
Fair.
Or what's the game? Smat? No.
Kings in Tokyo.
Kings of Tokyo. Yeah, you just make Kings of Tokyo.
That works.
Maybe you put the Host edition where like you can infect the monsters with like antibodies of the host.
Yeah.
And that does more damage or something.
I don't think I thought past Child's Play, to be honest. Now that we're like talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that IP, but I don't know. I know there's like a Nightmare on Elm Street like old board game
Okay.
back in the day, which would be fun. The Host, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because like I'm really into like the psychological horrors, right? So how can I
Right.
turn that into a sweet board game? But I'm stuck with my Chucky. That's what I'm gonna go with. Stamp that.
Okay.
Make it.
What other IPs have we played?
There's a bunch. So
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna throw it out there.
Yeah.
The one game I didn't really like that we played was The Shining.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up
Okay, great.
on this.
We're on the same
this.
page right now.
Yeah. When I look at The Shining, what I did like about the game, I feel like it's a good introduction to the trader mechanic in board games, but I feel like it didn't give off the Stephen.
Okay, hold on. So let me describe the game for everyone real quick.
Yeah.
Basically, you're in a hotel. There's like two paths up and down, and it's like a giant circle. And we're just trying to collect items. It was like a set collecting game, basically.
Yeah, you're trying to overcome. You take on the role as a janitor in the Overlook Hotel, and the horrors of the hotel are slowly influencing you throughout the game, right? So your character like drinks throughout the game as well too. You get like drink tokens or whatever, and that influences you how your gameplay works. And then you're trying to overcome all of these horrors that you see. So you're trying to collect things to be able to beat these cards that you draw. But one of the players is a traitor who's trying to keep everyone in the hotel and make you lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on paper it sounds cool. It didn't really give off that Stephen King vibe that you get from the Stephen King books, but it's more based on the movie, the Stanley Kubrick movie, I think. But I still don't think it does a good job of representing that either.
I've seen the movie like twice, and it didn't help me remember it.
Right.
The only thing that helped me remember it were the locations.
Right.
Like here's some locations that are from the movie. That's all that really made me think of the movie. Everything else didn't.
Right. So I don't know. How would you turn that game into something amazing? Right. So
That's the hard part.
I know there is Coded Chronicles, The Shining.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, like the Scooby Doo.
That would be amazing.
Right. So I want to
That
try
would-
that out. But because the Coded Chronicles like immersed me right into Scooby Doo, right?
So just so everyone knows, I'm sure if you heard our Scooby-Doo podcast, but Coded Chronicles is basically like an adventure game. Like an adventure.
Yeah, choose your own
series type
adventure game, yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be cool for The Shining. But I think if you're gonna do a game like The Shining I feel like you need to incorporate what Jack is going through. Right? So he's going into this abyss of isolation, depression, alcoholism, and then you have his wife and his son Danny. So Danny going through the abuse of his father, and the mom going through the abusive relationship or whatever too. Like how do you incorporate all that into a board game to really create something that's like truly spectacular, horrifying, and tense?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I actually think Coded Chronicles would be the best way to handle that.
Yeah.
An adventure game like that.
So I was hoping I would get that from this game, but I kind of knew I wasn't because the game was only like $20.
Yeah.
Like how much really thought is that? And that's what I thought was missing. So I feel like if you're going to do something like The Shining, you need those like tense elements and those more mature themes to really shine through and create a great game. And
yeah,
we
just didn't experience that on our playthrough.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a sad moment. On that note, I think they should just make all Halloween games Coded Chronicles.
They have a Goonies one. I know it's not.
Like I said the host. They should make the host the Coded Chronicles. You have to like solve you have to like fight the host in it or something.
Yeah.
Like there'd be so many great themes they could do with that. Well, you know what? I think like speaking of tense situations and stuff, I think like if you took the Arkham horror genre and maybe applied it somehow to The Shining, you would get those tense moments. Because every time I played Arkham Horror, I was always just like, I cannot win this game. I feel like I'm losing all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and actually like as a thematic game, that is a fantastic Halloween game. Because if you like cults, you like giant monsters like me, you like interdimensional travel like me, man, that is the game to play. And it has all the elements of horror. Like you could literally, like the whole idea behind Chucky could be replayed in an Arkham Horror board game. To be honest, you just summon the monster and it would chase you around the board. If you ever played Arkham Horror, it's a living card game that you get a deck and you basically play a scenario and you have a bunch of acts you're trying to get through. You're trying to basically beat the game. So it's you versus you and a partner, or maybe you up to 4 people versus the game. So it's really good. It's a good horror game.
Yeah, and I think if you were to apply even like that logic to the Shining game, I think, the horror, like I haven't played Arkham Horror yet, so I assume that you're going through and you eventually like it's what's an LCG?
It's a living card game. Yep.
Card game, right?
You get stronger.
You get stronger as you go through, right?
If you fail, you actually get items that can make you worse. Like you can draw, like for instance, let's say your past is like, oh, my mom died and I have like a psychological thing that affects me. That's actually in your deck, and you could draw it and it hurts you during the game.
Yeah, so perfect.
Yeah.
Right, so you're playing as Jack Torrance and you're this like regular dude, you got a little bit of a drinking problem. That's how you start off, right? And then you get this job, and your goal during this job is to write this book that you need to write, right? But then you're sitting in this like empty hotel with like your annoying kid and wife, and you just slowly get into this. You really start to notice the dysfunction of your family, and it tears your whole psyche apart, and then you become freaking psychotic. Right, and you start hallucinating and all this stuff. Like, I think that would be freaking great.
I hope Fantasy Flight is listening to this. They should be taking their IPs to a whole new level, but they should be taking that game, right? They applied it basically to Marvel Champions. Marvel Champions is basically the same type of engine. They could literally just do this anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like you could be like, oh, well, one of you's Jack. The other players are using their own living card game deck to try and beat you.
Yeah, Wendy and Danny, yeah.
Or Jack is just the AI basically. There's like an AI deck basically.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just the AI.
Oh, the AI
deck
would be the hotel.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And then the horrors that are inside. So you get like the Grady twins. So you get that witch lady in that one room, the 217 or whatever.
Maybe the game could play out differently too. Maybe Jack doesn't have to be the one who goes crazy. Maybe it could be the wife or the kid.
Maybe.
Right, depending on what happens to the hotel. One of you goes crazy, and I think that's where the missed opportunity was. I guess that's kind of what the game, the Shining game we played, was kind of trying to do. Any character could have gone crazy and could have hid in the thing, but I think it would have been way cooler if there was more interaction, right? Like I think if you had more interaction with the character other than you're just yourself playing, I think that would have been cooler. You have abilities based on whoever you are.
Right.
Anyways, that was a sad game.
Hey, I still think it's a good introduction to the trader mechanic. If you're trying to teach what that's all about, it's a simple game with that mechanic in it. So
yeah,
that's the shining light of it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go just off on rails right now, like I normally do. So I looked up the worst horror movies of all time,
Okay.
which maybe we'll talk about after. But the one that I'm like, we should make a board game of. Have you ever seen the Leprechaun series at all, John?
I've seen 1 through 4.
Oh,
and then I watched. They tried to do a remake of it.
Okay.
With like a wrestler, but I think I fell asleep in that movie. It was terrible. But yeah, that's as far as I got.
Okay, well, I tried to watch one of the Leprechaun movies once, and it was just so cheesy and just so terrible, I never actually got through it. But I found that the worst Leprechaun movie, and one of the worst movies ever made, is Leprechaun 5. So you stopped right before. You should have kept going. You should have saw this movie. He's
Leprechaun in Space was, I think, my threshold of Leprechaun movies, which was number 4. So.
Oh, really?
I think I was mad because the person, one of the stars of that show was Heidi on Home Improvement.
Oh, really?
And, when I was a little lad, very attracted to Heidi, and that movie just disappointed me a little bit.
For being a Leprechaun movie? Yeah, makes sense.
Because she was in it, and that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Well, in the
Hood.
Hood.
Where I was going with that.
Yeah, well, In the Hood is terrible.
Of course it is.
Basically read.
Leprechaun 1 was terrible.
Basically, they're all doing drugs or something like that, and apparently, it just feeds off stereotypes of black people. It's like
Ice-T's in it.
Yeah, Ice-T's in it.
Okay.
It is just terrible, and apparently, it follows 2 rappers apparently who are, I don't know, they smoke leprechaun laced weed or something, and then,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, look, the whole movie's supposed to be terrible, right? But I thought we could make a board game of it.
Okay.
I think it would be like Tokaido. Like you're going on a vacation. The Japanese game where you're going on a vacation, and basically you choose characters, and the leprechaun's kind of like the vacation. So maybe you land on a space, you do drugs. There's like a event deck, and the event deck does things to you that makes you sad, like you lose your money. And the first player to make it to the end with so many vacation points, or maybe you're gathering treasures in the leprechaun, wins the game. What do you think? Would you buy it?
Probably not.
What about you, listeners? Come on, someone's got to back me up here.
Okay, I'm trying to read the plot of this movie. The plot's only 3 paragraphs long, so this movie must not be very long on Wikipedia. So basically, like, the leprechaun is trapped in this medallion or something, and 20 years later, it gets freed by a wannabe rap artist named Postmaster P, and there's something to do with a flute, a magic golden flute, which accidentally frees the leprechaun. The leprechaun hunts friends to recover the stolen flute. Okay. What if you took, like, Lost Ruins of Arnak? Call Leprechaun Lost in the Hood.
Or better yet, you take all the scenes from all the Leprechaun movies. So The Hood, In Space,
Vegas. There's Back to the Hood.
Boom, there you go.
Dang. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could be a cool adventure game. It depends on how you're playing it. But if you're playing the Leprechaun killing people, trying to find this flute, yeah, go for it. I don't know.
Okay, now let's
Leprechaun is such a bad IP.
So let's go back to reality
Oh,
for a quick second here. Do you think this Leprechaun IP would appeal to anybody?
Probably.
Yeah,
I mean, the Leprechaun movie has like this cult following, right?
Do you think it would appeal to enough people to sell board games?
No, absolutely not.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be freaking real good.
It won't. It would never.
It'd have to like blow minds.
Yeah, but it'd also have to be super cheesy if it's going to appeal to the leprechaun market.
Yeah, I don't know. Enough drunk people to play it, sure. It could be a drinking game.
Yeah, it's like not even relevant. There's just cards that are like, just like drink. You found the flute, drink.
Yeah.
You found the leprechaun, drink. You are looking for the treasure, drink.
I don't even remember what the Leprechaun movies are about. Oh yeah, they're terrible though. That's it. I don't even know.
I mean,
I don't even know where to go from here.
Nothing says Halloween like a leprechaun, right?
Try to mash everything together.
Okay, well,
Awesome.
Is there any other games you want to discuss?
Yeah, I mean, I love Halloween games. I'm always gonna go back to my OG Nightmare. I think that could use a cool reboot. I know there's one like recently, but I don't know. I just love horror themed games, and I think that they're getting better and better. And I know there's some pretty scary ones out there as well, so I would like to dive into that sometime. But yeah, let us know if you have any cool Halloween board games or horror themed board game suggestions.
Okay, on that note, what Halloween movies have you watched this year?
As far as horror movies go, I watched a lot of psychological ones. So I watched Midsummer, How to Kill a Sacred Deer.
Midsummer?
Midsummer.
What are these movies about exactly?
Yeah, look them up, man. They're messed up.
Like they're just about like crazy people?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Sorry, that was insensitive. People who are psychologically going to kill you for some reason.
No. Well, I think the best one I watched, is probably Midsummer. Very disturbing. It was very bright, which is like a big contrast to most horror movies, which are dark and gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the main character's sister kills herself and her parents, and she's dealing with the grief and loss of that, decides to go on this trip to Sweden, I think, or Norway, wherever they do these Midsummer, in Norway, Netherlands maybe. Anyway, somewhere there. And with her boyfriend, who's a dick and who doesn't really want her to be there. He's going for like school, like to write a thesis. And they have someone in their friend group who is from there and like, brings them to this commune where they're trying to do this festival. But part of this festival is there's like 9 sacrifices they have to make to the gods. So the 9 people they bring in, there's 2.
I couldn't watch this.
Yeah, there's 2 from
I couldn't watch this. I know where this is going. I could not watch this.
It's messed up, but what's really cool about the movie, there's a lot of foreshadowing in it.
Okay.
So you kind of know what's already going to happen without realizing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And it's not like necessarily like jump scary. It's just very disturbing.
No, it's disturbing scary
images. Yeah, and it's it's long too. It's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours, something like that. And it's very bright and very like what the F is going on. I really enjoyed that one. And the killing of the sacred deer was really cool. Like that wasn't necessarily like scary, but like the music in that movie was like so tense, and you wanted to jump out of your skin just listening to the soundtrack of that movie. Those are the 2 big ones that stood out to me that I watched.
What is To Kill a Sacred Deer? Or am I going to be like, no, we need to stop talking? Well, just keep going.
Yeah, anyway, I never heard of this movie. It was like 2017 it came out, but it's got like Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman in it. It was like pretty big names.
Pretty big names, yeah.
Basically, Colin Farrell plays a doctor who has a patient that dies on his table, and he sort of feels bad that it happened and kind of befriends the kid's son. Somewhere down the line, kid finds out that Colin Farrell was drinking the night before the operation. He made a mistake and killed his dad. So he like kind of goes to like an eye for an eye type thing. So he's like, well, I'm going to kill someone in your family because you killed someone in my family. But it's done in a way where it's not like the kid has like powers or something, but they're not very well explained.
Okay.
And he starts making Colin Farrell's like family sick. So like they don't feel well, then they're not eating, then they start like bleeding from like their eyes and stuff like that type thing. and then so he kind of he's like, you have to kill someone in your family. So he has to make like some choice. God, this is and ridiculous. Then he's like, and then I'll stop.
This is like the Saw movies, but probably a little bit less campy, I'm assuming. I actually hate movies like this. I hate like movies that are just like over the top too.
Yeah.
Like I think it's because it stems from watching the old movie Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Oh, the movie is terrible. It was just like it's like we're going over the top to go over the top, and then that, because it did so well, started a trend with everyone's just trying to go over the top, right? Yeah. Like Hostel is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I can't believe I watched it several times because I hate movies like that. One of my friends was really into horror movies, so he would drag me to theaters to watch this stuff, and that movie just like I literally sat there with my eyes closed through half of it. I'm like, I can't watch this. This is just people, you know what I mean? Like it's just like the deaths is like people watch these deaths. I just can't, man. Like I'm too innocent.
Not that innocent.
Yeah, that's a place too. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't. How many times did I say I can't right there?
A lot.
Why can't we have happy? You know what I grew up with Halloween wise? The Simpsons.
Candy.
Simpsons Halloween special, right?
Yeah.
That was great. It was hilarious. Kang and Krotos, or the 2 aliens, are always on it. Like, there's nothing happier than that, you know?
Nope, I agree. Halloween of Horrors. Or
House of Horrors.
House of Horrors. I don't know. So I watched The Simpsons in like 20, 30 years.
Neither have I, but I still remember a lot of it.
Awesome. Those are our thoughts on board games that are not good Halloween IPs. And my love of psychological horror movies.
And my hate of psychological horror movies.
All right. If you like what you hear, don't forget to follow us on our socials. You can check us out on Instagram at Friday Night Games _official, Twitter at Friday Night GMS, TikTok at Friday Night Games, and on our website, FridayNight.games. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite streaming platform and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, I'm John.
I'm Matt.
It's Friday night, so let's have some fun.
Thanks, everyone.